You know, a side note on that, if Brody farted, it would smell. Hello there, heroes. I'm the Orange Ranger, and boy oh boy, I keep finding ways to keep this channel interesting, don't I? Those of you playing the home game might notice that I did not post a review for the first episode of Power Rangers Ninja Steel. And, as you can see by the title of this video, this is my review of the second episode. So, what happened to the first one? Actually, I did a review of the first episode. I watched the episode, I wrote my notes, I wrote the script, I filmed it, I edited the entire thing. I was all set to go to take it to Starbucks the next day and upload it for all of you to enjoy. And then I very carelessly left a large glass of water sitting next to my two computers, which, yes, were both in the same place. And then my cat Squeak, who you all love so much, decided to investigate that large glass of water. And he investigated it all over both computers. So, as you can imagine, both of those things are fried. Though, don't worry, Squeak was not fried, neither in the chaos of the moment, nor by my anger later. On reflection, I realized it was more my fault than his fault, and I've learned my lesson the hard way. Do not leave water sitting near electronics. Now, there's a chance I'll be able to recover at least the data from those computers and get that review that I did back, but we're just going to have to see what happens. And also, obviously, if I'm posting a video for you guys right now, I figured out a solution to the problem of not having a computer to use, that solution being some very generous family. I know that some of you are just hearing about this now watching this video, but I did post about it on my channel's social media pages, which are always a good place to find out updates about the channel. I do realize that some of you are not signed up for the Facebook or the Twitter or the etc. So I wanted to take this chance to let you guys know that this channel's Twitter page is actually completely public, and you can access it without even being signed up for Twitter. So whether you're signed up for Twitter or not, maybe go ahead and bookmark twitter.com/orangerangervid so you can get updates about the channel. If it's been a couple of days and I haven't posted a video and you haven't heard why, swing by that page and I've probably already posted an update about what's going on. So, what about my review of Ninja Steel's first episode? What's going to happen with that? Well, you might remember way back when I started doing these reviews for Super Megaforce that my review of the first episode was a vlog, and then from episode 3 I started reviewing them every week. During Super Megaforce's hiatus, I went back and covered episode 2 that I had missed. And that is what I'm going to do here. The first video of the Ninja Steel hiatus is going to be my review of Return of the Prism. And that is whether or not I'm able to recover the data from those hard drives and get that review back. If I'm not, I'll just do it over again from scratch. That's my commitment to you, heroes. However, it's said that time waits for no man, and Power Rangers waits for no reviewer. Another episode is aired, so I've just got to jump in the stream here and start swimming. Here's my review of the second episode of Ninja Steel, Forged in Steel. Now remember, this is going to assume that you've seen at least something of the first episode, even though this is technically my first review of Ninja Steel, so I'm not going to be that careful with terms and names and things like that. If anything confuses you, you can just feel free to ask about it in the comments below, and I'm sure I, or another one of my heroes, will be able to help you. The episode begins with what I thought was going to be our every week Kids Are Dumb, recap the basics of the story, every single week story summary, but they got me this time, as at least the end of it is actually episode specific, and that is something that I'm totally fine with them doing. However, it refers to Brody's dad as Earth's greatest ninja. You'll forgive me if I take that with a rather large grain of salt. Although I suppose it is possible that he's Earth's only ninja. So, as you might expect, the episode starts by focusing on those two people that we met last week but didn't focus on. Now, it's going to take the episode until past the halfway point to give us these characters' names, but reading through my notes revealed just how awkward that would be for me to do. So you've got this guy Calvin and this girl Haley. The truck that we saw last week broken down is broken down again. However, Calvin fixes it and says Nitro is ready to go, cooing at it. Haley reminds him that she's the one that's his girlfriend, not the truck. Whoa, 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 whoa. What? Boy, none of that Schuyler ambivalence this time around, huh? Second episode and we have a boyfriend-girlfriend relationship. And in somewhat of a bold move for a kids' TV show, it's an interracial relationship. And in a somewhat bold move for Power Rangers, it doesn't involve the Red Ranger. Oh, and that dog that Haley has is named Cody. You know, like Kodiak, though I'm sure that won't factor into anything else. Anyway, the space junk from the Warrior Dome falls down in front of the truck. The two investigate it, and Calvin kicks a big ball of it, which I had thought was a rock last week, revealing Mick, the shape-shifting engineer. He explains that he's the head mechanic on the Warrior Dome, where the #1 show Galaxy Warriors is taped. They, of course, have no idea what he's talking about, and he explains that the Milky Way galaxy is just a touch behind the times. He says that he jumped out of the ship to get away from big, ugly monsters like them, pointing at Kudabots. Kudabots. Small robots with actually kind of a neat Japanese aesthetic to them. Yeah, just like them. The two of them fight to protect Mick, although Haley, for some reason, grabs a piece of really flexible, soft plastic piping. The two of them end up finding that the Kudabots' own staff weapons work better before running away. Up on the Warrior Dome, Galvanax can't get an answer out of Madame Odious on how teenagers were able to pull Power Stars out of the Prism, and then Ripcon reports that 2 more teenagers rescued Mick. Annoyed with teenagers in general, Galvanax barges onto the Galaxy Warrior stage and changes the game. Instead of a one-on-one battle like in the first episode, Galaxy Warriors is now anybody and everybody versus the Power Rangers. Any monster that can find and defeat the Rangers and get back the Power Stars will achieve champion standing just like Galvanax. For whatever that's worth? I don't know, maybe the Warrior Dome has a really nice Champions Lounge on it or something? Meanwhile, Calvin and Haley drive Mick to the school, driving around back to the shop classroom. Guys, I'm pretty sure you can't just park your truck there and, alright. Then something happens that's kind of half clever writing and half Deus Ex Machina. Principal Hastings, who runs the school, sees Mick and assumes that he's a guy that had applied for, but ultimately turned down, the shop teacher position. Since he's there, Hastings assumes that he's decided to accept the job and welcomes him. So now, Mick has a job. He's the shop teacher. The original candidate turned down the position, so he won't be coming to look for it, and now Principal Hastings won't be looking to hire anyone else. Victor and Monty show off again as Victor rolls out what is actually a beautifully painted car. However, he accidentally parks it right on the paint pump's main line, which causes the machine to overload and covers the two of them in blue paint. It's another one of those pie-in-the-face slapstick gags. For now, just keep in mind, would I have even bothered mentioning it if it was just that? Sarah, Preston, Redbot, and Brody get back to his childhood home and, shock of all shocks, Aiden isn't there. Gee, Brody, it's only been 10 freaking years. Did you honestly think that a 10-year-old Aiden was going to live in that house by himself? I mean, I understand Brody being disappointed that Aiden wasn't there, but he's actually devastated until Sarah calms him down. They decide to check the workshop as Brody thinks Aiden might have hidden the ninja steel in a box that they used to have to find as part of their ninja training. Ah, the ancient ninja art of treasure hunting. Anyway, as Redbot takes over the digging, Brody explains that his father not only chipped that ninja steel off of the prism, but melted it down and forged ninja stars with it. But that was when Galvanax attacked. They finally find the box, but it's empty. Or nearly empty. Sarah finds a photograph inside of Brody, Aiden, and their father, who's holding a trophy. As Mick fixes his datacom with tools in the shop, Sarah realizes she's seen that trophy somewhere before. Last week, when Victor was bragging about all of the school trophies having his name on them, she saw one that said Dane Romero. What's Brody's dad's name? Would you believe it's Dane Romero? The photo is a clue, and the Ninja Steel is hidden in the trophy. And just as they come to this conclusion out loud, Redbot snatches a buzz cam out of the air, one of those flying cameras from Galaxy Warriors. Whoops! Galvanax just heard where the Ninja Steel is, and has Cosmo Royale send a monster, Ripper-Rat, to go get it. Mick calls Brody on his fixed datacom, and Brody tells Mick where the Ninja Steel is and asks him to go get it. They find the trophy, which I could have sworn was in a locked trophy case last week, but oh well. And the Ninja Steel, but Ripper-Rat catches them outside. How about that? They try to fight him with sports equipment, though that goes as well as you might expect. Oh, and we see that the buzz cams are broadcasting this fight to the Galaxy Warriors stage. Now that's entertainment. Ripper-Rat destroys Mick's datacom and nearly takes him out as well, but he's saved by the Ninja Nexus Prism, which knocks Ripper-Rat away. Now, the white and yellow power stars are glowing like red, pink, and blue did last week. And they're the only two stars in the prism, but that's something we'll get to a little bit later. Mick tells Calvin and Haley to take the two power stars, and they do so. The prism leaves as Brody's group arrives. Preston finally gives us Calvin and Haley's names, and Sarah, Brody, and Redbot introduce themselves and explain really quickly about how the stars make people Power Rangers. Ripper-Rat gets back up, and the team morphs together for the first time. The morphing call for this team is Ninja Spin. Kind of on the nose, and not really as emphatic as Unleash the Power. The morphing sequence is quick, to be honest. The team are instantly in black ninja outfits and seem to take the stars off of the morpher and fling them. The stars come back and spin around them, forming the suits. The helmets then kind of fall from the sky and the visors close. Calvin and Haley, of course, get those ninja masks inside the helmets that the others do, and each of them gets a line that kind of hammers in their thing. Calvin says Nitro, and Haley says Wild. Ladies and gentlemen, we have made it to the Ninja footage. It's noticeable, but not in a bad way. I think it's just more that I personally recognize it. I don't think they really could have blended it any better. Haley wonders if their morphers have any other modes or weapons. Come on, Haley. This is Power Rangers. The morphers are just the morphers. They don't do anything. Wait, what? Okay, it turns out this time around the morphers do have other modes. The morphers grow larger for no clear reason at all that I'm able to tell. Was this a size difference thing between the Japanese toys and the Sentai props? I don't remember these weapons actually growing in Ninja. Anyway, Sarah and Haley use bow mode, extending two blades on the morpher to form a bow and pulling back on one of the points. Oh, and kids, that super awesome deluxe Ninja Battle Morpher toy that you just got? Yeah, it doesn't have a bow mode. Calvin uses blade mode, with a sword blade extending from one of the points. Preston uses claw mode, with two shorter blades forming, well, claws. Brody finishes the deal with a steel/red ninja strike and drops the team's tagline, "Show's over, ninjas win." However, Galaxy Warriors has a second chance mechanic. It was probably a sweep thing or something. Monsters can be gigantified. How? A beam fires down from the ship and makes the monsters grow. Gee, where have I seen that before? Fortunately for the Rangers, Ripper-Rat's weapons jam when he grows, and this gives the Prism a chance to step in. It shows the Rangers a vision of 5 really weird-looking Zords, and the Ninja Steel starts to resonate. Mick finds the ninja stars that Brody's dad, Dane, made and gets a hunch. Figuring that the Prism is asking for something, Mick tosses the stars in. It chews on the Ninja Steel a little bit and spits out 5 brand new Zord stars. As Mick says, it's time to meet their Zords. I'll rant about this more in pros and cons, but I figured I would warn you guys right from the beginning. I hated Ninja's Zords, and I am no more fond of them now. Why? Well, let's take a quick peek at them. Brody's Zord is a large red robot which he names the Robo-Red Zord. And yes, it's a separate thing. Even though he has a red robot friend that could and probably should have just become the Zord. Preston's Zord is the Dragon Zord. No, not that Dragon Zord. No, not that Dragon Zord. No, not that Dragon Zord. There you go, that one. Calvin's Zord is a big yellow truck, so of course he calls it the Nitro Zord. And since Haley's white dog Zord looks just like her white dog Cody, she calls it the Kodiak Zord. So, we've got a dude, a dragon, a train, a truck, and a dog. Only one of those has even the slightest connection to ninjas, and none of the Zords really have any kind of a connection to each other. Ugh. And here's the best part. Yes, the show established that the Rangers each have some kind of a connection to their Zords. Do they explain this, or even point it out? Nope, it's just a funny coincidence, apparently. The Rangers jump onto their Zords and pilot them from the outside, even though you would imagine at the very least the Nitro and Zoom Zords would have a cockpit. We do get a nice individual Zord battle and see what each of these Zords can do. The Robo-Red Zord is fast and agile and can flip around the battlefield like a ninja. The Nitro Zord can throw rocks or spiky type things on the ground. The Dragon Zord can fly and breathe fire, of course. The Zoom Zord can throw large ninja stars for some reason. And hey, if you yell fetch, the Kodiak Zord will catch them all. Whoops. Interestingly enough, we get an original finish to a Zord fight, as apparently they don't want us seeing the Megazord just yet. So instead, the Rangers pull their Frog Blasters again, and this time just shoot a giant monster and it blows up. Why not just do that from the start if it was that easy? I bet you never thought you'd hear me say this, but let's circle back to that slapstick gag. That little oopsie broke the painting machine, so now the paint room is out of order. Since nobody's going to be able to use it, and Mick is their shop teacher, so nobody's going to ask any questions about that, they decide to make that room their base, hiding the Ninja Nexus Prism there. But as they go to install secret entrances, Sarah notices something that I mentioned earlier. When Calvin and Haley pulled out their Power Stars, those were the last two. But at the end of last week's episode, there were 3. The gold Power Star is missing. Up on the Warrior Dome, Galvanax is still upset that he doesn't have the Power Stars, even if the Power Rangers are bringing in the ratings for Galaxy Warriors. But hey, Madame Odious isn't worried about that. I mean, she's got a Power Star herself. Yes, Madame Odious has the gold Power Star. Intrigue. Let's fling Ninja Stars. Episode 2, Forged in Steel. Pros, more well-done character building, comic relief as plot point, and building mystery. Cons, those Zords. Easily beaten monsters, and repeating dino charge too much. An odd case where the show actually improved on a premiere. Forged in Steel gets 4 Ninja Stars out of 5. I was actually a little torn on whether this would be a pro or a con, whether it's too on the nose or just well written, but we are very familiar with who the characters of the Rangers are. This episode introduced us to our white and yellow Ranger. Haley is a nature lover, especially an animal lover, and brave and kind, though not incredibly intelligent, as evidenced by the flexible pipe thing from early in the episode. Calvin is a car guy, fun and cool and good with tools. These are kind of informed attributes right now. We're going to need more depth on these characters as time goes on, but so far, so good. We actually got some comic relief that wasn't completely useless. Victor, or Monty, one of the two, parked the car on the paint line, which broke the machine. Now, last season, I feel like that would have been it. Just a funny slapstick gag. Haha, the mean kids got paint on their faces. However, in this season, it broke the painting machine and freed up the painting room to be the Rangers' base. See, I don't actually mind comedy in Power Rangers when it's either intelligent comedy or it serves a purpose. And we're getting our first bit of plot intrigue very early on this year. Second episode, and one of the villains has a Power Star. How did Madame Odious access it? Did someone take it out of the prism for her? Or did the prism recognize her as worthy, and why would that be the case? Is Brody's missing brother Aiden somehow involved in all this? And why isn't she telling Galvanax that she has a power star? The fact that I even care about these questions shows that the plot is pretty well written, weaving in questions that I want to know the answers to. But sakes alive, those freaking Zords! This is one of those cases where, yes, the Sentai is to blame, but you know what? Saban Brands could have adapted Tokuger instead, so they don't get a pass for that. These Zords have hardly any connection to the ninja theme or to each other. Yes, they kind of match with things in the Rangers' personalities, but that's not even really mentioned, let alone explained. Mick just once again mentions this nebulous legend of the Power Rangers. You know, a side note on that I was thinking about, if Brody hadn't heard Madame Odious call his father a Power Ranger, they probably wouldn't even be calling themselves the Power Rangers now. But yeah, anyway, I'm really not a fan of these Zords. For the second straight week, we get a monster destroyed by simple blaster fire. And this time, it was a giant monster. I will say I kind of get that move more this week than last week, because this week they were changing the ending of a Zord fight. In the Ninja, in this sequence, they actually did form the Megazord. But is the budget really so tight that you can't spring for one CGI blaster finisher? Just pew, 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 boom? And then we have the Magna Beam. The Gigantifier. This episode was a lot better about not feeling as note for note with Dino Charge as last week, where Return of the Prism basically felt like a rewrite of powers from the past. But following up from that, it was another bad note. And the really bad thing about it is this is a really mimetic thing, where you can put shots of the two side by side, and all us Ranger fans can do is shake our heads. But overall, this felt like a better episode than the first one because it branched out more on its own. It's kind of ironic to say that when this episode used Sentai footage and the first one didn't, but the first episode leaned far too much on Dino Charge to be considered good. This one just gave me more encouragement that it's going to branch out in its own direction and be more original than just being a copy of Dino Charge. By the way, little closing note, Principal Hastings. Kind of a hot librarian thing going on? Anybody else? Well, we've got 5 Rangers, a mentor, and a base. It's time to get down to some serious rangering as the team begins searching for Aiden and the missing gold power star. Let's see what's coming up in episode 3 of Ninja Steel. Live and learn! Brody is accused of cheating on his first day of school after using his datacom to find answers. Now he must use his own abilities and leadership skills to lead the Rangers against another threat from Galvanax. Thank you so much for watching this Power Rangers Ninja Steel episode review. I really appreciate it. Make sure to like the video by clicking the like button right down below. Let me know what you thought about this episode and of this review in the comments down below. And subscribe to the channel to see all the Weekly Geekly. Also make sure you ring that bell to make sure you get notified of when I post new videos. And if you happen to have a couple of dollars lying around you don't have anything else to do with, as I say every week, you can head over to my channel page and hit that blue support button, and I would really appreciate it. A special note on that, however, YouTube is ending fan funding, the blue support button, in February. So if that's a way you want to support this channel, you're going to need to do that soon. I will be letting you heroes know at some future time what alternatives I plan to use when YouTube fan funding ends. Until next time, may the power protect you. Yep, both of them sitting in the same place. And then I watched the episode, I wrote my notes, I should be. Actually, I did a review, Now, I realize that some of you are only hearing about this incident now watching this video, but I did want to take a second to say that I posted about it on my channel's social media pages, which are a good place to get any kind of updates on my channel. I do realize that some of you aren't signed up for things like Twitter or Facebook, but I wanted to take this chance to say, I don't want to say that twice. Gee, Brody, it's all farts. Mick calls Brody on his fixed datacom, and I knew that part was going to mess me up. Redbot snatches a buzz cam out of the air, one of those flying cameras. Galvanax just heard where the Ninja Steel is, and sends one of his farts. He sends one of his farts. But Ripper-Rat catches them outside. How about that? Yes, it's Calvin and Haley to take the 2 power stars, and they do so. The President leaves as Brody's group arrives. Preston finally gives us Calvin and Haley's names, and Sarah farts. Their morphers grow larger for no clear reason at all that I can tell. Seriously, was this a thing? The morphers grow larger for no clear reason at all that I'm able to tell. Was this a thing? Calvin uses blade mode with a sword blade extending from one of the points. Brody finishes the deal with a steel/red ninja strike and drops the show's tagline. I'll say the team. Brody finishes the deal with a steel/red ninja strike and drops the team's tagline. Show's over. Ninjas win. And the ninja steel starts to resonate. It's a separate thing. Even though he has a red robot friend that probably could farts. So we've got a dude, a dragon, a train, a truck, and something else. A dog.
Today's word of the day is FLIRTUM!
Mick just once again mentions this nebulous legend. Nebulous? I think nebulous is the right word. Make sure to click the like button down below to let me know that you liked the video. Let me know what you thought of this review. A special note on that note. On that note, if you happen to have a couple of dollars lying around you don't have anything else to do with, you can head out to... Farts! Why can't I get through this?